If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
A couple of weeks away from the start of school, and Dr. Michele Eller, Superintendent of Sylacauga City Board of Education, joined us this morning. Dr. Eller, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us today. And, you know, this time last year, we were talking to the prior superintendent about COVID-19, and lo and behold, we're talking about it again now. Yes. What can you tell us?
Well, all we know is that we're doing everything we can to ensure that our buildings are safe, our students are safe, our staff is safe. We are hoping to have as close to a normal year as one can have in the midst of this, but we are monitoring the situation and taking whatever precautions we need to take.
It is not mandated by the Alabama Department of Public Health nor Governor Ivey of masking. Where do we stand on that with our public schools?
Well, I think we have to look at our county as a whole, looking at the numbers, the current numbers of this COVID variant that's come in, the Delta variant. I think we also have to take in consideration that our school board is made up of several medical professionals, which is a great benefit to us. So in looking at all that, we have been advised to strongly encourage the usage of masks, especially for students and adults who have not been fully vaccinated yet.
Now, we did some vaccinations in the last few days here at the Board of Education office.
Yes. In conjunction with our registration, we also held a vaccination clinic for all students ages 12 and up. Parents were able to take advantage of this, and even some of our staff members as well. We had a total of 95 students over the 3 days that received the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine.
How did the registration go?
Great. We are looking forward to having all of our students back in our buildings.
I hear the word tired. You know, people are tired of going through the regimen of COVID and having to do the special things. But as a school, you know, we do what we have to do for our students and our faculty.
Correct. And I think that if there's anything that the COVID-19 has taught us and taught us about our education professionals as a whole is that we are resilient and that we are going to do whatever it takes to educate our students.
Now, you're getting information from Alabama Department of Public Health and the state school board more than just one time a day.
Yes.
And with our Sylacauga City Schools, a lot of parents and grandparents are watching this morning with students and grandchildren in our Sylacauga City School system. What have you learned so far, being here just a few months, about our school system as we get ready to go in August?
Well, I'll have to say the community support is amazing. We have a large amount of community support. We have support from our parents, and that's not found everywhere, that community support. And that's really one of the things that drew me here as a whole, was the support of the community. Of course, we would ask that as information is being given to us almost daily, for our community, for our parents, for our students, just to be patient as we make decisions based on what is the very best for them with the information that we've been given. So I would ask for a little patience and a little grace. That's what I would ask for our community.
Yeah, and this is not something new, but we really thought, and I'm one of those positive thinkers, I thought, wow, we've got this in the rearview mirror, but not so fast.
Yes. We were extremely excited about having a normal, I guess, as you could say, school year. So this has been a little bit of a curveball, but we are going to rise to the challenge, and we're going to do whatever we need to do to open our doors and have school as close to normal as possible.
The vaccination that we're given to some 95 students or so, they'll get a second round of that when?
Yes. In about 3 weeks, Coosa Valley will actually come to our campuses to give that second round of that vaccine then. And I don't know if the public is aware, but Coosa Valley has been doing
Yeah.
these vaccines all summer on Wednesdays from 8 to noon. So even if our students or parents or community was not able to take advantage of what we held at central office, they can still go to the Coosa Valley Medical Center to receive that vaccination as well.
And during the summer months and at the end of the school year last year, there's always some shuffling of teachers going to different positions and administrators with this principalship or whatever. Tell us a little bit about that right now.
Well, right now we have, of course, a new principal at the high school, Mr. Hodge, and I think
Yep.
you were able to have him on your
like
show.
him.
Yes, we do too. We also hired a new assistant principal at the high school, Shannon Gallimore, and she will be overseeing a lot of the curriculum and instruction piece in that building. We are in the process of hiring a new assistant principal at Pinecrest. Unfortunately, Mr. Cordy has left us to take a position elsewhere, and we were very sad, happy for him, because it's, you know, you always want to see your people that you've invested in move to that next level, but of course it's also sad to see them go as well. We've got several new teachers coming in. We've got recent graduates. We've got teachers from other systems that have been waiting for an opening in Sylacauga to join us, which is always exciting. And so just a lot on the horizon there. And then, of course, all of our athletics as well, and fine arts. We've got several new fine art teachers joining us. We will now have art at every building, and music as well. And so we're really trying to cultivate that as well with the academics too.
Dr. Michele Eller, the superintendent of Sylacauga City Board of Education, our guest this morning. You spoke briefly about athletics, and that's another area of concern with football season upon us.
Yes. When we saw this rise in the COVID numbers, especially this Delta variant that seems to be attacking more of the youth than the previous did, we reached out to all of our coaches and spoke to them about precautions that they could take with their sports and encouraged them to look at the vaccine as well as another measure, because the information that we received is that if a student is fully vaccinated and is asymptomatic, which means they're not showing any of the COVID symptoms, and they've been exposed to COVID, they do not have to quarantine. And that's big in the middle of football season, not to have to quarantine your entire team because of the exposure of one or two. And so we saw this as another measure of precaution that we could take to keep our athletes healthy and keep our athletes on the field.
Dr. Eller, what is something that you can leave with parents and grandparents and students that are be coming into the system and continuing the system in just a few weeks? I know you don't have a magic wand or anything like that, but what can you share with them about that patience and grace you're talking about?
Well, I would say, one, please come to school. You know, we know how to educate the students. Please come to school. Please come to our buildings. Please register your child. I promise you that we're going to do everything we can to keep them safe. We are going to continue to listen to guidance from the State Department, from the CDC, from the Alabama Department of Public Health, and from our medical professionals on our board as well. And so just trust us to take care of your children. And then secondly, that patience as we get that new information in. We may have to change some of the guidelines that we have in place. Just be patient with us as we do that, because everything that we're doing is to put our students first. The safety of our students is number one. And so decisions that we make are not for any kind of personal gain or any kind of hidden agendas. It's simply to keep our students safe so that we can do school.
Dr. Michele Eller, Superintendent of Sylacauga City Board of Education. Some exciting news about B.B. Comer, and you guys were a part of that yesterday too.
Yes, very exciting. The old Avondale Mills is now going to be transformed into a regional training hub, an innovation and training hub.
That's a win-win, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So we are very excited to be at that table with Talladega County, with SAFE, with Coosa Valley Medical Center, Alabama Power, and it goes on, the stakeholders and partners in that. And so our students will actually be able to take advantage of some of the career technical education courses that we'll be able to offer in that facility. And we will do that in a partnership with Talladega County.
Isn't it great to be able to partner with, a lot of times it's all about competition, but to partner side by side with another agency, that's fantastic.
It's exciting. It's exciting. We know that it takes a village. And why not pull all our resources together to do the very best for our students, for our community.
All right, school starts when?
August 12th.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So from the little guys to the seniors, it's a brand new year, and there was much talk, Dr. Eller, last year about, the State Board of Education included, about our students getting behind with their learning, with their studies. Talk about that just a little bit.
Well, we, of course, held summer school classes across our campuses. We had numerous students that took advantage of the summer programs. Some of these were conducted in-house, and some of these were conducted in a partnership with SAFE. So I think that has helped to bridge a lot of that gap that we saw from last year. We also have hired additional staff to help us in our buildings. We've hired instructional coaches that will actually go in and equip our teachers in instruction, and really helping them look at data, look at the students, and do more personalized instruction to kind of fill those gaps that we know will exist with our students.
Now, funding is so key to the progress and success of any school system, including Sylacauga.
Right. Well, we've been very fortunate that we have received some ESSER funds from the federal government. Of course, this is temporary funding. So for the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be able to do a lot of things.
Take advantage of it.
Yes, and we're taking full advantage of that, from facilities to safety to instructional strategies and personnel. So it might look that we've hired a lot of people or purchased a lot of things, but we want to be the best stewards of our funds. And these monies are earmarked for safety, they're earmarked for facilities, they're earmarked for instruction, and that's what we plan to use that for.
With no mandate from the state of Alabama, including the Department of Public Health, about masking, it's kind of cloudy, the issue is right now, but once you stop something, it's hard to restart it.
Yes.
And we stepped away from the masking in the spring, and now then we're trying to jumpstart it again.
Right. Very difficult. And so, but all we can do is encourage, because from CDC, from our medical professionals, that is the one sure way we can deter the spread of the virus is with the mask. And of course, secondly, with the vaccination.
And the vaccination, according to all the experts, is the key.
Right, exactly. And even with the vaccine, you're not 100%, but at least you're not 0%.
Yeah. Now, I'm assuming that all the employees of the school system need to be vaccinated or have been vaccinated, or?
All we can do is highly encourage. That's all we can do. We, from educational stance, we cannot provide mandates. So we cannot mandate that the vaccination take place. We can only strongly encourage, which is what we've tried to do.
So President Biden yesterday tightening the screws on some areas of federal government, and just kind of keeping an eye on that as it trickles down. But appreciate you being here with us. I know it's awfully busy time of the year for you. And how can people keep up with what's going on with the school system?
Well, one, of course, you can always look at our website. We try to keep our website up to date. Second, we try to keep our Facebook page up to date as well. If your student is already enrolled in our system, then of course you'll get the updates that we send out across the board. So just stay abreast of whatever you can. And of course, our doors are always open. You're welcome to come by. You're welcome to call. And our staff is there to support and help.
All right, we're in the red zone now, just a couple of weeks away from the start of the school year. Dr. Michele Eller on a busy Thursday joined us. And Dr. Eller, always a pleasure, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
More Daybreak just ahead.